Hello everybody. If you want all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 953, The Old House. Beginner. Tom was a quiet man. He was 35 years old. He lived alone in a big city. One day, he decided to leave the city. He wanted a quiet life. He found a small house in the countryside. The house was old and cheap. The agent said, "This house is special. No one has lived here for many years." Tom bought the house. He moved in on a cold Monday. The sky was grey, the wind was strong. The house stood on a small hill. Tall trees grew around it. The windows were dark. The door was heavy. Tom walked inside. The rooms were empty. Dust covered the floor. He cleaned the kitchen. He cleaned the bedroom. He put his bed near the window. At night he made a simple dinner. He ate bread and cheese. Then he went to bed. At midnight he woke up. He heard a sound. It was soft. It was like footsteps on the stairs. Tom sat up. "Who is there?" he called. No one answered. The sound stopped. Tom listened for a long time. Then he slept again. The next day was sunny. Tom walked in the garden. The grass was long. He found an old well. The well was deep and black. He looked down but saw nothing. A neighbour came to the fence. The neighbour was an old woman. Her name was Mrs. Gray. "Good morning," she said. "You are the new man in the old house." "Yes," said Tom. "It is a quiet place." Mrs. Gray looked at the house. Her face was serious. "Be careful at night," she said. "Strange things happen in that house." Tom smiled. "I do not believe in ghosts." Mrs. Gray shook her head. "The last people left in a hurry. They never came back." Tom went inside. He did not think about her words. In the afternoon he found a box in the attic. Inside the box was an old diary. The pages were yellow. The writing was small. Tom sat down and read. The diary belonged to a woman named Anna. She lived in the house many years ago. She wrote about her husband. His name was John. John was angry every day. One night Anna wrote, "John hit me again. I am afraid. The house feels cold. I hear voices in the walls." Tom turned the page. The next entry was different. The writing was messy. "John is gone. He fell down the stairs. Or did he? I saw something in the dark, a shadow with long fingers. It smiled at me." Tom closed the diary. He felt cold. That night he left the light on. He went to bed early. At midnight the footsteps came again. This time they were louder. They came up the stairs. They stopped outside his door. Tom's heart beat fast. He got out of bed. He opened the door. The landing was empty. The air was ice cold. He walked to the stairs. He looked down. Nothing was there. Then he heard a whisper. It came from the attic. "Tom! Tom!" He climbed the stairs to the attic. The door was open. Moonlight came through a small window. In the corner stood a woman. She wore a long white dress. Her hair was black. Her face was pale. Her eyes were dark holes. Tom could not move. The woman lifted one hand. Her fingers were long and thin. She pointed at him. "You should not be here," she whispered. Tom ran. He ran down the stairs. He ran to the front door. The door would not open. He pulled and pulled. The handle was ice. He ran to the kitchen. He tried the back door. It was locked too. The whisper came again. It was closer now. "Stay with me, Tom. Stay forever." Tom grabbed a chair. He broke a window. Glass cut his hand. Blood ran down his arm. He climbed out. He fell into the garden. He stood up and ran to the road. The night was black. The trees moved in the wind. He reached Mrs. Gray's house. He knocked hard. Mrs. Gray opened the door. She looked at his face and his bloody hand. "You saw her," she said. Tom could not speak. He only nodded. Mrs. Gray pulled him inside. "Anna is still there," she said. "She killed her husband, then she killed herself. She jumped into the well, but her spirit stayed in the house. She waits for new people. She wants company. Tom stayed the night at Mrs. Gray's house. In the morning, the sun was bright. Tom looked at the old house on the hill. It looked quiet. It looked empty. "I will leave today," he said. "I will never come back." Mrs. Gray nodded. "That is wise." Tom packed his bag. He walked to his car. He put the key in the door. Then he stopped. He felt something in his pocket. It was the old diary. He had forgotten it. He took it out. He wanted to throw it away, but the diary opened by itself. A new page appeared. The writing was fresh. It was in red ink. "You cannot leave, Tom. I am with you." Tom dropped the diary. He looked at his hand. The cut from the glass was gone. In its place was a long, thin mark, like a finger. The mark moved. It grew longer. Tom got into the car. He drove fast. He drove towards the city. After 1 hour, he looked in the mirror. In the back seat sat the woman in the white dress. Her dark eyes looked at him. She smiled. "We are going home," she whispered. Tom screamed. The car left the road. It hit a tree. The sound was loud. Then everything was quiet. 3 days later, the police found the car. Tom was not inside. The doors were locked. On the back seat lay the old diary. The last page was open. In red ink it said, "Tom is with me now, forever." The house on the hill is empty again. At night the lights sometimes turn on. Footsteps walk up the stairs, and if you listen carefully, you can hear two voices whispering in the dark. If you learned a new word today, please make sure to subscribe so you can practice again next time. Vocabulary notes. Footsteps, meaning the sound of a person walking. Example, he heard a sound. It was soft. It was like footsteps on the stairs. Similar words. Steps, walking sounds, tread. Whispered, meaning spoke in a very quiet voice. Example, "You should not be here," she whispered. Similar words. Said quietly, murmured, spoke softly. Shadow, meaning a dark shape made when something blocks the light. Example, "I saw something in the dark, a shadow with long fingers." Similar words. Dark shape, silhouette, outline. Pale, meaning having a light or white color, often because of fear or illness. Example, her face was pale, her eyes were dark holes. Similar words. White, colorless, ashen. Spirit, meaning the part of a person that some people believe continues after death. Example, "But her spirit stayed in the house." Similar words. Ghost, soul, presence. Story and image generated by Grok. Animation generated by Clipbee. To read, listen, see all the story's content in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. CC Music, Drifting at 432 Hz, Unicorn Heads.